All right, so now we've actually calculated all of these functions. We've calculated the hypotenuse, which is the radius. We have our sine function, our cosine function, and our tangent function. Now we want to graph these functions, okay, with respect to time, okay? So basically we're going to take our time column here and we're just going to copy it. So all I'm doing is selecting up here and then we're going to copy this. So now I'm copying and then I'm going to go over to the sine function here and then I'm going to insert left. Okay, so you'll see that time is right next to it. So what you want to do is you want to basically have uh, you got to have an X and you have to have a Y. The first column that we select will be on our horizontal axis. The second column that we select will be on our Y axis. So again, we're going to select on our fill handle, bring it over here, and then we want to go to insert right here. And this is on our iPad, and then we're going to choose charts. And the kind of chart that we want to choose will be the XY scatter. And from there, we want to choose the scatter plot. It's called mark scatter. So what you see now is your sine function coming up. So it shows that we can actually graph this thing. From here, we want to actually insert. We don't want to just leave a graph like this, okay? We want to actually label it appropriately. So even though we have this as a sine function, we want to make sure that this side is labeled properly, and this is our horizontal axis, and that our y-axis is, our x-axis is labeled appropriately. So we can give this an appropriate title. What makes sense? We're communicating to someone. So I'm going to go ahead and select elements right here. And you'll notice that we can put axis titles, we can change our axis, we have chart title, data labels, all this, error bars, grid lines, on and on and on. So let's go ahead and select our axis titles. And I'm going to use primary horizontal first. And I want to select on that. And I'm just going to double tap on the horizontal axis or axis title. And I'm going to say time. And I'm going to use a parenthetical statement, and it's going to be seconds. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing. I'm going to select elements again. Then I'm going to select axis titles. And then I'm going to select primary vertical. And now I'm going to double tap on this axis. And when I do that, I'm going to call this the sine function. And it is a dimensionless, well, it's a dimensionless number. Remember, it is a ratio of lengths. Okay. So this is labeled pretty good. And then let's just call this our first trigonometric function. Let's give it a nice title. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's our first trigonometric function. And we want to do the same thing with the next one. So I'll select time again, and I'm going to copy time. I'm going to go over to cosine. I'm going to select the column for cosine by touching on I. I'm going to insert left for time again, and then I'm going to grab my fill handle. I'm going to go to insert, charts, XY scatter, and notice we have our cosine function. Okay, let's go ahead and put in our elements again. Primary horizontal. We know that this is just going to be time. And then the primary vertical axis is just going to take a label of cosine. So now we have our second chart here. So if I want to, I can just bring this down. Move this. It can be over the data, that's fine. And I'm just going to call this our second trigonometric function. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing with tangent. All right. So right now, this is our tangent function. It's not that clear. It's okay, but these 2 points right down here are kind of problematic. So I'm going to want to change this axis here. I want things to go between 50 and a negative 50. What happens is the tangent function will come from a negative infinity, and then it'll go up through 0 and then go to a positive infinity. And then it'll repeat itself. It'll come from a negative infinity and then go to a positive infinity, and then come from a negative infinity to a positive. So that's the tangent function. If you looked it up online anywhere, this is where it's coming from. But I want you guys to see that all of these functions are a result of the ratios of the magnitude of a vector, okay, of the components of vectors. Cool? Or at least this is the way we can think about it. So let's see if we can change our element. So right here we have our axis. We have a primary horizontal, primary vertical. Let me see. Oh, we want to keep that. Now it might not be possible to change this, but we're going to try. So I'm going to go ahead and change the title first. This title is going to be time, again, in seconds. Then our next element will be the tangent function. All right. So let's see. Maybe in a little bit I can come back and show you guys how to fix that side. I know how to do it on the desktop, but I haven't figured out how to do it on the iPad yet. So I'm going to stop this video for now. But this would be, oh, I need to go ahead and change the title here. Sorry about that. Chart title. Oh, should be able to just tap it. So this is our third. Trigonometric function. And I can go ahead, I should be able to pull this down below these other 2 charts here. And that would about complete this assignment, but I do want to make sure that this trigonometric function is treated appropriately, and I'll do that in the next video. If you don't see another video, then just skip it.